Hey, what is going on? Welcome to Dharma Time. I am your host, the Dharma Guy, here with, as usual, the Dope Doctor. What's up?
That's right. What's happening, bro?
And you were listening to us on WPSN99.com, the problem-solving network, where we...
Stream solutions.
Look at that. See, you did better than I did the other day. So.
Yeah, see, because I know what the station does.
Well, ouch. That one stung just a little bit. Anyways, I will say welcome, everybody. Today is Tuesday. It's our second show of the new year. Very excited about that.
Yeah.
Although it's already the 19th, dude.
Man, this
like,
month
is already almost gone.
This month is already
How's that even happen? Like, you blink and it's already almost February, man. It's insane.
In February and March, you're gonna fly a lot because I'm gonna do a lot of traveling in February and March.
Right. So a lot of pre-recorded stuff we're gonna have to do. Is what you're saying?
I try to schedule things. No, I try to schedule things outside of our show days.
Okay.
I think I did pretty good.
That's very pragmatic of you, sir.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Wait a minute. I don't think I've ever used pragmatic in a sentence, to be honest with you.
I just did, though.
No, me.
Well, I just did, and you just did, too. But anyways.
Are we going to do the reveal?
What reveal?
On your show?
What
if I'm going to start doing it, you got to at least do the reveal. I've never shown my face on your show.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so...
Your YouTubers have never seen my face.
So, for those of you who don't know, we do have WPSN99.com, which obviously you should know because you're either listening to us on it or you can see it behind me. But we do broadcast live on Facebook and other social media, things of that nature. But then all of our shows, once edited, we put in all our little bells and whistles and make them snazzy, which I think we're going to redo some of them.
Another word I've never used in a sentence.
Me either, actually. But on the Couch Live, which I co-host with him, you see both of us. It goes back and forth whenever we're talking. However, apparently Dharma Time has never been good enough for him to show his face on.
I wanted to make sure you cut the cheese. Not cut the cheese. Cut the mustard. Is that what it is?
You tell me, man.
I've never said that in a sentence
This is your story. Anyways. So today's gonna be a big day. He's gonna grace my channel there with his presence. He's going to allow the Dharma Time users there to look at his face.
Well, the contracts are now all in place correctly. I wanted to make sure before but the royalties are in place before Dharma Time actually has the ability to use my likeness.
There you go.
I wanted to make sure that Dharma Time could pay me.
And what a great show to bring it out on too, man. Anger.
Right.
It's a great show to have
talking
on.
Anger. So here we go.
Let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Why not?
For your YouTubers, here you go. This is my face. Hello, everybody. How you doing?
There you go.
You're on Dharma Time, and I am the street certified dope doctor, Louis Delgado. There you go. Back to you, Trini. Go ahead.
All right. So today's show being anger.
Anger.
All right. It's what made me think of the show, right? Because I'm always I'm looking throughout my life, and I'm trying to find different things that are relevant that I think people are dealing with.
Anger's always relevant.
Anger is always relevant.
Right.
And I'm seeing, first and foremost, you got all the political stuff, right? I mean, I'm not going to get into the politics, but there's...
You always say that, and then I kind of drag us in there a little bit. You notice that?
There's two sides, obviously, and at least in today's world, they seem to really detest one another. And to a point to where they can't even do it, cordially anymore. And then... there's the whole snowflake debate and the liberals and everything else and the conservatives and then you go online and the thing about the internet is as great as the internet has been for us, it's also been pretty horrible when it comes to how we treat one another.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of legitimate, intelligent dialogue happening. It does happen, but not a lot of it. It seems like more often than not, people want to take that as an opportunity to just spew all sorts of hatred. They're called trolls, a lot of them.
There's a lot of speaking, not a lot of listening.
Absolutely. And so, but what I have seen in the last probably 3 or 4 days, I don't know if it's just that time of the year for some people, maybe, the disappointment of resolutions, I don't know. But I have seen a lot of people posting that they're having a hard time dealing with anger right now.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen quite a few people posting like, hey, man, I'm so angry and I don't know what to do about it.
They were angry because I wasn't showing my face in your channel.
Exactly. And there you go. All said and done. Problem solved.
Problem solved. No more anger.
That's what we do.
Relax.
Now we just got to stream the solution.
Chill.
God, we're so horrible. I think we should talk about it, man. I think that, I know for me, for one, I definitely have my anger issues back in the day. I think I refer to them more as rage issues than anger because I took anger to a whole nother level.
Right.
But I do want to kick it off, though, with a quote that I read years ago, right?
All right?
I think you and I both do that thing where we find a quote that we like and we save it.
forever in our head?
Well, no,
Or
I write it down.
I do too.
Yeah, I have a whole list of quotes on my phone.
Oh, well.
And so there's a quote that I've kept, and I've had it for years that I just really, really like. And I think it's pertinent for today. And it says, in a controversy, the instant we feel anger, we have already ceased striving for the truth and have begun striving for ourselves. It's a very old-timey quote, I guess, but I like the quote nonetheless.
The way the sentence is structured, it's very old-timey.
Very old-timey. But that's okay, because somebody called us boomers the other day, so I guess we're baby boomers now.
So basically what you're saying is that we seek, at that point, we seek to validate our opinion.
Yes. I think when the second you start to get angry, because I think it kind of goes into one of the two biggest things when it comes to anger, I believe, is obviously it's more complicated than that, but I think it revolves a lot around perception and expectations.
Yeah.
How you perceive the incident happening and how it differs from the other person's perspective.
Yeah.
As well as, your expectation of what should have taken place.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what we're angry about isn't even really the situation itself. It's just that the situation went differently than we thought it should have gone.
Yeah.
Right? Because we all do it. We're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of waking up every morning and we have this expectation of what the day is going to give us. Right? In every situation, we walk into, a basic expectation of what we think each situation should be. Right? Like when you get in your car on your drive to wherever, you expect, whether you realize it or not, you're expecting nobody to cut you off. You're expecting, no major incidents along the way. Like, this is what your expectation is.
Yeah.
Which isn't really valid, but we do it anyways.
I expect them to know I'm on the road. Exactly. It's time to move.
Yeah.
I got somewhere to be.
And then the second somebody cuts you off, because it didn't align with what you already expected to happen, you get angry. You get frustrated. Like, why is this person doing this?
Did you talk to my wife before you did this show or something?
No. No, but you've mentioned numerous times that traffic is still probably one of your weak spots.
It's the lingering one.
Yeah.
I don't throw locks and I don't shoot at them and I don't run them off the road anymore.
Those are all pluses.
But internally, like I don't even flick them off anymore, but internally
gives you a minute to deal with.
Yeah, and I still make a couple comments to myself.
Well, it's interesting you said internally though, right? Like because especially with Buddhism, it seems like a lot of people get this weird idea that you don't get angry anymore.
Yeah.
Which is just not true, right? Like we all get angry. It's just an emotion and it's going to happen, right?
So Buddhists are still allowed to be angry.
Absolutely.
Right. You don't lose your Buddha card.
No. I think for me, like my main difference, for instance, prior to spirituality, prior to Buddhism, prior to becoming the Dharma Guy, if you will, I dealt with lots of rage, man. I was just angry all the time.
You were the danger guy.
Yeah. I had tons of anger and rage built up from years of just things that just didn't work out the way I think they should have, and I got bitter from a lot of those. And so my anger I expressed outwardly, be it verbally, physically, hitting people, hitting things, throwing things, getting mad, yelling. It was all external.
Right.
And then kind of, I think where the switch happened for me, number one, is I don't get angry as much anymore because I have a much different outlook and perspective on things, which we'll get into.
Right.
When I do get angry, it comes and goes. Like I don't latch on to it. I let it come because it's going to happen, but then I let it go as well. Like I don't embrace it and own it anymore like I used to. Like I don't live in the anger. I kind of just let it kind of subside on its own.
Well, it seems like you know how to use your tools now.
Absolutely.
And you have a lot more confidence in those tools.
Yes.
You know what they are, you know how to use them, and you have a lot more confidence in them.
And then the third thing is what I've learned as well, and sometimes I think this can be read wrong, especially in my household. I will, when I feel myself getting angry, when I know I might say or do something that just isn't in line with who I want to be these days, I'll withdraw a little bit.
Okay.
Like I kind of retreat just a little bit, and I think, especially in my house or even around other people who don't know me that well, it feels like I'm being disconnected, or it feels like I'm pouting maybe. But in all reality, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to prevent going, like I'm self-aware enough to know I'm about to say something right now, or I'm about to do something. For instance, we had a situation over the weekend I won't go into, but you and I had a situation with somebody else that didn't align with what we thought should have happened.
Yeah, it could have went the other way pretty quick.
Yeah, and I think we handled it very well. But there was a slight moment where, when it initially happened, something came out of my mouth that let me know, I'm a little irritated at the moment, and so the very next thing that come out of my mouth won't be good. That's why I walked away for a minute. If you saw, I went and I was going to use the bathroom or something.
I was wondering why you never went to the bathroom. You said you were going to go to the bathroom, and all you did is went from my right to my left.
Well, I walked out, but the door was locked, so I couldn't.
Oh, is that why you came back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so when I came back, though, I had a chance to kind of like, all right, let me relax.
I thought you didn't want there to be any witnesses, just in case I'd push forward.
Who knows?
You didn't want to witness anything.
There wasn't, so who knows if something did happen or not.
You came back too quick.
Yeah. But my point being is I'm aware enough now of my own self that I can tell when that it's starting to boil. I'm able to be like, okay. And so I stop myself, and immediately, just to alleviate the pressure, I kind of disconnect a little bit, withdraw. But then at that point, I also try to look at the situation from a different perspective, saying, why was I getting angry in the first place? Oh, it's because this was not going the way I think it should go. They have every right to mishandle things in my mind, whatever. And it keeps me from taking things to a level it doesn't need to get to.
Using that situation as an example, I think that situation that we dealt with was actually a very good example for both of us, because both of us, the reason we get along is because both of us have some similar things in our history that connect us.
Right.
We dealt with life a little bit similarly.
Yeah, I'm from Mexico too.
Yeah.
Orale, man.
Very good. It's a start. It's a start. Now, if you can eat jalapenos, you're in.
I can eat jalapenos.
Okay, good. But
should I call them jalapenos?
No, don't do that. The way we handled it, though, is once at first we handled it exactly the same. First, we both laughed, thinking this has got to be a joke.
Yes.
There's no way this situation is going this way right now.
Yes.
Both you and I use a lot of humor in everything we do. So first, we laughed, threw in a little sarcasm as if we're going to give you an out for a quick second.
Yes.
To see if this is real.
Yes.
As soon as you and I both realized it was real, then we both did our typical Dharma Guy, dope doctor thing, which is explain ourselves. I think you were right with me when I was explaining.
Yeah, we were both there when we explained. Well, we asked why. Like we wanted
exactly.
We were trying to understand where he was coming from, and why he was feeling the way he was feeling at the moment.
Right.
And once we found that out, we reiterated, "Hey, look, that's not. I think you misread the situation.
Correct.
We weren't purposely touching that button.
Correct.
It was an accident on our part.
Correct. So we were both on the same page.
Yes.
Then once that didn't work.
Yes. Once that person just wanted to be angry, we're like, okay.
Yeah. You removed yourself.
Yeah.
And I said,
yes.
This isn't going to work. Goodbye. Yes. And we left immediately. And I think us leaving as fast as we can.
Yes.
Appropriately and respectfully, I think, is a perfect example of growth, rather than continuing to be angry.
Well, and I think we both got angry. I mean, I think at first it was just more of a flabbergasted or kind of disbelief,
shock, yeah.
And then it turned into concern, because I think we were concerned. Like, hold up, I didn't want to upset anybody purposely.
Yeah,
but then it turned into like, okay, now I'm getting angry because you're just being a little petulant child at this point now.
Well, I mean,
we got angry, but then
once we knew that, look, in order to have a more conversation, it's not going to go well.
No.
So let's go have the conversation, just you and me.
Yeah.
Without this person involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that's an example, though, right? Like in that particular situation, it was perception and expectations that got everybody in that situation angry. From him, it was his perception of the situation of like, these guys are purposely, upsetting me at the moment.
Yeah.
Or, these guys know what they're doing, or whatever it may be. It was his perception was just skewed a little bit.
Yeah.
And then his expectation of us understanding that without him explaining it to us ahead of time, and then vice versa, like our own perceptions and our own expectations. So, like, I think that's what led to the because the actual thing itself is not bad in any way, shape, or form.
Not to us.
Even if you ask him, the thing itself isn't what was bothering him. It was whatever that was attached to, and we still don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave us some insight, but I think it goes deeper, obviously. And so it wasn't even the thing itself. It was just what it triggered. It was the reminder of all that.
Right.
And so, and it's not our fault that we touched into something we didn't know was even there.
Everybody's walking around with wounds, man.
Exactly.
I don't know everybody else's wounds.
No, we don't. It's impossible to know that.
You know?
So to me, I think that it's the expectations and the perception that gets us in trouble. It's the perception of like it's personal or things of that nature.
Right.
I think it's the biggest minefield
that
we walk through as human beings is this idea that everything is personal, or the idea that everybody knows, kind of like you said, my trauma, my wounds.
No.
It's not. It's not personal. That's the sad part is nothing is personal.
And there's a great deal. I think there's a great deal of dialogue. Here's my problem, Trinity. My problem is that I'm now at that age where
the boomer age.
He
I'm not
called
gonna
us
let that go.
boomers.
Yes.
He called us boomers.
Mind you, to be a boomer, don't you have to be like 60-something at
I'm
this
49.
point?
You're 39.
Yeah.
We're not
I'm not
boomers.
39 yet.
38, whatever. It's the same thing. But yeah, I'm not calling myself 50 yet. But the point is that I'm now at the age where I'm getting a lot closer to being allowed to not give a whatever.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm getting closer. But more importantly,
Get off my lawn.
yeah, more importantly, I'm at the age to know that I'm a dinosaur. That's more the new way to be. I'm not asking him to change.
Right.
Because I'm realizing that's the future. The future is you can't. I mean, everybody's gonna. You gotta walk around with little white gloves, and you want to hurt anybody's feeling. But it's not the world that I want to live in.
No.
But it's not the world I'm gonna have to live in.
But,
I'm gonna be an old man put in a corner watching Looney Tunes. While everybody else is going, I'm sorry, did I hurt your feelings? I'm sorry, I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry. I don't want to live in that world because I don't come up from that world.
But you know what's actually funny is now that you mention that, I kind of had that same realization. I've had that same dialogue with myself, like a moment where I had to realize that I'm not going to sit here and say I'm right and they're wrong kind of a deal.
Right.
But I started to realize I'm different. Like, I'm just not that anymore.
Yeah, you're older.
And so instead of fighting the system like I wanted to before, I think that's where my age and wisdom come in.
Yeah.
Whereas I would have tried to fight it before. I would have tried to explain to everybody why they're wrong or whatever. But now I'm just like, okay, that's just not my. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just do my thing now.
Let me tell you something.
And it just changes who I spend my time with, obviously.
Being on the golf course yesterday
Right.
with some with baseball players. Let me just say baseball. I'm not even out who all the baseball players were.
Yes.
Now Lesky's like very responsible and respectful, by the way.
Yeah, I see Lesky being.
So Lesky doesn't bust balls like that anymore.
Right.
But he knows about it because he's a baseball player.
Yeah.
But being on a golf course with a bunch of ex-professional baseball players, I was able to be in a group of people that are just busting balls the whole time.
Sure.
I love that. I miss that.
Oh yeah, and they still have it too. Because I remember we
I
talked a little
love
bit of
that.
trash to Strawberry.
Yeah.
and he still got it.
Yeah,
he has no problem.
The reason I love baseball players so much is they buzz. They're used to being so many guys, and they travel for so many games.
Yeah.
That there's no better group to bust balls with than baseball players that don't get offended. They just don't get
I
offended.
just think locker room people. Period.
Locker room period.
I
miss
yeah.
that. The world is going to be sad when they're all gone.
I do too. That's definitely. That's kind of what happened, right? On our little incident, is we were bringing that kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
A little bit of locker room there.
Right.
And very, very like G-rated locker room, but still locker room nonetheless. And this other person just wanted no part of it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I hope El Paso hasn't turned that way because I can't imagine a bunch of Mexicans like me being offended about little things. I mean,
Side note: I heard El Paso's like one of the safest cities in the U.S.
El Paso's not one of the safest cities in the U.S.
Yeah, that's what Beto O'Rourke was saying when he's out there. That's what they're saying.
That's because whatever happens in El Paso, you take it over to why doesn't deal with it there. That's why.
Hey, it's still El Paso. But anyways, so yeah, I think though that so somebody who's listening to this, right? If you're listening,
when are you listening to Beto? By the way, Beto
O'Rourke.
Why are you listening to that guy?
I'm listening to everybody, man. I listen to all the people. How else do you know where they're coming from if you don't listen to them?
I mean, like listen to him. Like it's fact. Listen to him. Anyway, go ahead. Beto. He's not even Latino. How do you get a name like Beto?
I don't know.
I'm gonna call myself, Frank.
I think you should. Why
Steven.
not? To be frank here. But no, I think that, if you're listening to this right now and you find yourself getting angry, I think you have to look inward and realize that anger, it's on you. It's not really on the other person.
Right.
I think that's where it has to start. Because your anger is your reaction to what that person said.
Yeah.
Nobody else has the ability to make you angry. And that's what we have to that was the hardest thing for me to realize.
Yeah, it's your fault for walking around with a big old button.
Yeah.
You know?
I used to think that my anger issues were everybody else around me. I used to think it was, well, if they wouldn't do this and they did this and they did that.
Yeah, me too.
But what I had to realize was at the end of the day, man, like, you know what really did it for me, to be honest with you? And maybe if you're listening to this right now, this might do it for you as well. It was a power thing. What finally got me was I realized how weak I was. I'm giving my power to everybody else.
Yeah,
I'm allowing you to control me.
I agree with that.
That was the final straw for me that kind of like, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, I didn't like the idea of saying that you are such a powerful individual that you can dictate to me how I'm going to feel.
Right.
Oh, I hated that. That thought process is like, nope, not going to happen anymore. And so now when somebody's saying something, when I feel that coming, it's like, nope, I see what you're trying to do. I'm not going to let you do it. And that's why I do whatever I got to do to take that power away from them.
That's what actually angered me most when I was learning that lesson. That's what actually
very hard.
angered me most.
It's very hard. It's a very punch in the gut kind of thing to realize.
When Dana still tells the story of when we first started dating, that this guy, our first fight was,
Right.
I felt like caused by another individual. And the more I thought, the more I was like, I am going to kill this guy because he got us in our first fight. I was so mad that I lost control, that I felt like he got Dana and I into an argument. And then, I knew he had that kind of power.
Right.
And when I thought about that made me even more.
Yeah.
Instead of going like, all right, don't give him that power. Get into my chi moment, whatever the hell I was supposed to do. It just made me want to hurt him more. Yeah, and I just couldn't stop myself.
That was a hard thing for me.
It's a hard lesson to learn.
It is. It is. And
that it's weakness. Anger is weakness.
Yeah.
It's not strength.
No, not even close. That was the hardest thing. And that's still the hardest thing for me to teach others. Yeah. Because nobody wants to hear that. Because everybody, you feel so justified. Because when you're angry, you're not even thinking straight. You know what I mean? No. Like, you're angry and you're reacting now to things. Yeah. And that is a weak thing to do. You're not reserved. You're not even using your brain anymore. You're using your lizard brain. You're just responding to stuff. Yeah. And granted, that's the oldest one, but that's the least evolved one as well. You know, it's like you're acting like a caveman right now, bro.
Even the dinosaurs are gone.
Exactly.
It's probably because they got mad.
They all got mad.
Why is it so cold?
The meteor's coming. I'm not moving. Okay, well, you're gonna die now.
I'm not gonna dig a hole.
Well, and not only that, but if you think about it, I know me personally. In anger, I've done some really stupid things. Yeah. That looking back, I'm like, oh God, I can't justify that. But I was angry.
Yeah, is your mom still listening to her to tell us one?
Sure. Well, I mean, I can tell you one, man. I remember when I was in high school one time.
Okay.
And I can't remember what it was. It was something really dumb. It was so stupid. But I remember I was angry and I punched. I was a hitter. I used to punch things.
Okay.
And so I punched.
You punched inanimate objects?
Yes. I punched people too, but.
Yeah, but inanimate objects. Is just...
I don't know what the statute of limitations on that is, so I'm not going to mention any of those. I'll mention the things though.
7 years.
Oh, I'm good then.
Yeah. As long as they didn't die, then it's always.
Well, anyways, I punched glass essentially. It was like a door, and I punched the glass, and I didn't realize that it was going to break. And when it broke, I got glass in my knuckles, so I had to go and had them removed or whatever. Yeah. It was a dumb thing. I've broken all of my knuckles. I broke it. And that's just, I punched a tree one time, dude. A tree's not going to give. But I was so rageful that I didn't even care. I was just going to hit whatever's in front of me. And the funny part, the argument I used to always get into to people, and I think, if I'm honest, I still have a hard time navigating this particular argument, even though I know in my heart of hearts it's just not true, but it doesn't stop my other side from trying to convince me that it's true. And that is, people always used to say, well, violence doesn't solve anything. Yeah. Or
it feels so good, though,
Trinity. It feels fantastic. Like,
I've been in my house so long. My house frames are damaged in the house that I'm at because we never moved from the knocking so hard. Yeah. Because I hate when people close doors on me.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So I knock really hard.
Same here.
Well, these frames aren't built for that.
No, they're not.
I just want I like the loud noise.
Yes.
Like when you
slam
slam
to startle somebody.
I like the bam, bam, bam.
Yes.
But the door frames don't like it.
But no, I mean, in the moment, yes, I've convinced myself that exploding on this person or hitting this object feels good because it is. It's a release. Yeah. I'm not going to deny that feels great. Yeah. But what comes afterwards doesn't feel very great. The feeling of like, why did I do that? Or the pain or the law enforcement or whatever it is that you're going to now have to deal with is not really worth it. Mm-hmm. And the problem is we get so caught up in that anger, we don't think about the next step. We don't think, down the road. We think just right now and immediately. Yeah. And so to me, I think trying to approach it from stopping your anger once it started is the wrong way to go about it. You're going to fail at that every time. Right. So I think the true trick here, if you will, if you're listening to this and you want to deal with your anger, is to deal with your outlook and your perception now.
So I got one, Trinity.
Sure.
Take this moment then to talk to this audience. How do we deal with the anger towards another generation coming up that we know they are the evolution of us? In other words, if that's the way we're going, if the way we're evolving is that we're all super sensitive snowflakes, right? Then how do we dinosaurs, us older people, tolerate this? Because I guarantee you my grandfather was laughing at how nice I am to Dana.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure my grandfather said, "What a wimp! I would never.
Of course.
Why are you even letting her drive? That kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So we are that person now.
Yes, we are the get off of my lawn people.
Yeah. So how Help us tolerate this younger generation, Trinity, please.
Well,
Dharma time us.
yeah. Well, I think that when hey Christina, how you doing? We just had somebody join us. I think for me, the way I personally deal with it is this is going to be their world. You know, like I've got my little world already set. I'm doing my thing. It's their world, and they have the right to run it essentially however they want. And so if that's the life that they want to lead, then by all means, I'm going to let them lead it. I choose to spend my time elsewhere. As far as being angry about it, you know, I don't have to succumb to that. I don't have to live that life. They're not forcing it upon me. I can still choose for myself the individuals I hang around with and how I communicate with them. So, for instance, this individual that upset us over the weekend, we already talked about it, and there's just no way we'll do business with him.
Actually, we upset him. He didn't really upset us.
No,
we upset him.
The situation just didn't go the way we wanted it to go.
Yeah. Because we didn't really get upset.
No.
I mean, but we could have.
No,
we laughed. We laughed more about it than
it
upset,
irritated me. The
cojones.
The mindset that individual had was definitely a mindset that I don't agree with.
Right.
I don't do well with a lot of really sensitive individuals.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't try to change them. I let them be who they are. Right. And I just, okay, well, that tells me that I don't need to spend my time with you. Yeah. I spend my time elsewhere.
So here's
you're not going to change people, basically.
So here's a question. Because you don't hear sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. You don't hear that anymore. No. Nowhere is that a lesson anymore. Instead, it's if someone hurts you, sue them or turn them in.
Well, what you hear now is also words do hurt. That's what you hear now.
Well, yeah, that's right. Words hurt worse. Words hurt worse.
Yeah.
You know, say first of all,
I'm gonna say the word was a catalyst.
Now that we're all under this mindset that emotional damage is worse than physical,
I'm calling BS on that though.
Does that mean I can go around and punch people then and but be nice while I'm doing it?
Yeah, you look great today.
Yeah, you're a beautiful person. You're beautiful. Yeah. Because if they say that emotional damage is worse than physical,
I'm going to say emotional damage.
That's somebody ain't got their nose broke.
It depends on how you define worse, I guess. I think emotional damage can be longer lasting. And a larger impact.
Yes.
But I don't know if I would call it worse. Because I'd much rather have somebody call me a name than punch me in my face right now.
Hell yes.
You know, but at the same token, I think part of the reason why it is longer lasting even is because where we're at as a society, we don't teach coping anymore. So when you don't know how to cope with something, it's devastating. But if you know how to cope with something...
No, we teach telling.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So my
see something, say something. We teach see something, say something, which I understand.
Sure.
More than, hey, man, words are words.
Just deal with it, yeah.
You got all those years of me counseling, I taught people how to shrink that button.
Right. Yeah, that's the big
thing.
So
that people can't push your button. You got to learn how to shrink that button, hide that button, put it in your pocket.
Yes.
Don't let people know that that's your
button.
Stop
walking around with this magnificent button that everybody gets to push.
Because I'm a button pusher. So if you walk around with a big old button like Flavor Flav clock, I can't help but push it. Trinity, I can't help but want to push
my nature. I'm an antagonistic person.
Thank you. I'm just doing what I'm built to do, Trinity.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But I think that's part of it is reducing the button size, man.
Yeah.
You know, like for instance, when we used to do the pay program thing, I would talk to the kids in there, about anger issues, and they would say to me, "Well, what would you say? You mean to tell me if somebody came up and started cussing you out, you know, disrespecting you?" I'm like, "What is respect? Like, I don't care. Like, you lay your hand on me, well, you're gonna see a whole nother side.
Yeah.
But if you're just calling me names, whatever, like, I'll just sit there and look at you, like, okay,
I can still get out of that
like,
situation.
Congratulations. I don't really care.
Right.
But that's part of it. Is my button has been reduced. Like, there was a time in my life where there was certain fighting words, but where I'm at now in my life, there's no such thing as fighting words. I don't care. Like, I really don't care. But I think that's part of it is my button's been reduced.
No, there are fighting words. No. There are fighting words.
So there's still words that somebody could say to you that we're fighting?
Yeah.
Really?
Like, I'm coming to kill you.
That's a threat, though. Like,
those are the fighting words.
Okay.
If it's threatening in nature,
all right, I guess we can.
Then I'm not going to wait till I'm hit first. I'm not going to wait till you strike first.
Yeah.
If I believe the threat, then I'm striking.
Well, to me, okay, I can go with that.
The element of surprise.
I still consider that physical to my mind because it's an
I understand.
imminent threat. I guess.
I understand, but there's some people you just have to believe.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because I used to work in a very serious psych hospital.
Right.
And that client that's walking around and looking
Telling
at
you I'm gonna kill you
I had a
today.
6'6"
They might do it. Yeah.
giant
Absolutely.
walk around the ward, and we had a pool table at this place. Walk around, and he kept grabbing the pool stick and the pool balls, and kept eyeing me and goes, I'm going to kill somebody today.
Whoa.
And he kept doing that.
Yeah,
and at first, I was like, hey, man, because I had a good relationship with him. And then later, I thought, there is no relationship with this guy. This guy's serious.
Which one of his personalities are your relationship with today?
He keeps coming out here, and he's telling us what he's going to do. So it's like, I was already thinking, all right, there's something got to be done.
Right.
We just started having a plan.
Actually, you know what? One of our listeners here, Christina, said, I take stuff with a grain of salt. And I think she just hit it on the head, though, as far as what we were talking about before, and perception.
Right.
Part of the thing I think that a lot of people don't do is, once again, they take it personally.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that, when somebody's saying something to me or doing something or, getting angry or whatever, that says more about them and where they're at than it does about me at all.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't think we do enough of. There was, we used to do groups, right?
Yeah.
Which I kind of miss, by the way. But,
Yeah.
Some of my favorite people in groups were the angry, antagonistic ones. I love those ones.
Me too.
The ones that everybody's like, oh, this person's being a prick today.
I love the difficult clients.
Yeah, I loved them. I loved them because, to me, all that says was passion. I just redirect your passion, figure out what you're passionate about. We're good.
Plus, they're the ones that need me the most.
Yeah. And so I think that there was a time, though, where when I was younger, had I been in a group and I'd been challenged like that by a client, I probably would have met the challenge. I would have gotten angry. I would have been like, I would have been fearful of losing my authority in the room, and I would have felt challenged, and I would have gone off. But being where I'm at, when I would see that, my first thought wasn't, how dare you, or I can't believe you got the balls for that. No, my first thought is, wow, how much pain are you in right now that you think that that's the appropriate thing? And I think that right there is going to help a lot of people with anger issues. Before you get angry at something, if you're out there in the streets, or if you're out there in a store or wherever, and somebody's saying or doing something you're going to get angry about, first ask yourself, what kind of pain is that person dealing with?
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody wakes up and says, I want to be a prick today. No, I think we all wake up with the same intent of just being happy and having a good day. Right. Something takes place that sets us off, and then it's a snowball effect. And then you're going to give it out to everybody that you're coming in contact with. And then, we always say somebody's going to get a dog kicked at the end of the day. Yeah. But so when somebody's acting a certain kind of way, my first thought is that. My first thought is, what is it that you're dealing with unskillfully that's making you feel the need to react that way? Because I know me, if I'm acting in a crappy mood, something major had to have happened. I'm having to deal with something that's making me feel unskillful to do those types of things. Right.
Well, you bring up a good point, especially when you're talking about someone who's seriously in pain and going to need treatment or something like that. Because Kevin Morris is watching. He's an interventionist from Lift Confidential, and he just reminded me of a situation when you were telling that story of. Do you remember when I went to that beach condo to pick up somebody to go to a treatment center? Now, I'm under the impression that this person is wanting to go voluntarily, and I just so happened to say, I'll come do it. I knew it was going to be some sort of a conversation, not so interventionist, but a conversation. I show up there, and I was with Tommy, and Tommy and I show up there, and the guy pulls a knife on me. And I'm thinking, so we walk in, and it's like a barricaded moment. It's like one of those TV moments where, the guy's like barricaded, and he has a knife. And all I'm thinking to myself is, he's going to hurt himself. I don't feel like he's going to cut me. I mean, it's a knife. Kind of been in that situation before. At worst case scenario, I might get punctured or cut. But the key point is I'm worried about him hurting him. Right. Because we're like on the 17th floor or whatever. You know what I mean? You never know what can happen. Or him hurting his mom or dad, because he's probably going to stab them.
That's where his emotions are going.
Yeah, his emotions are more mad at them than me. They're mad because they brought me into the fold, right? But that whole thing, here's somebody very angry, and just what you said, just trying to figure out where's this anger coming from, is what helped calm that down. Now, mind you, I calmed it down enough to get the knife from him, to get him in the car. Right. But every not even 5 minutes, every 2 minutes, he remembered he was angry in the back seat and kept wondering how to piss me off.
They call that feeding your dragon.
Yeah, because I think he was upset that he couldn't piss me off, so he kept making comments about Mexicans. He kept making comments about me personally. Anything he could try to pick on, to try to, And it wasn't until the very end when I'm finally letting him go, where
Like, all right, bro.
yeah.
Had enough.
I remember that conversation right at the end where it was all done. He's at the place and everything, and I said, all right, enough. Now we're done.
Yeah, I've had enough.
This has been about an hour.
My cuppeth runneth over.
My cuppeth is full. You're just gonna, and I said it in such a way where he just gave me that look. Says, all right, but I still hate you. I said, okay. But the next time I saw him, he was sober.
Yep.
He was doing well. He apologized for this situation. He was laughing about it. But the point is that by going to where they're at and kind of figuring out where their anger is and where it's deriving from, you're absolutely right. Because if you could do it with somebody who's highly intoxicated and probably has a lot of mental health issues or trauma issues, then you could do it to everyday person that you work with or that you see on the street.
Well, I mean, we do it every day anyways. We all do it. We're all fantastic at it. But with 3 specific groups of individuals or people, whatever you want to call it, is really old people, little kids, and animals. We do it with them all the time.
No, there's people out there kicking animals.
Yeah, but they're sadistic, man. They're,
and beating up old people.
They're not normal.
Yeah.
But the average individual, the old person will say or do something. Whatever. He's just, he's an old guy. He's harmless. Little tiny kid. The little kid. Where's your mom at, man? Get out of my face. Or little like puppies and stuff and kids. Like we do that so well with them. We don't like. I can't believe you do. What's wrong with you? We don't do that.
That's why my mother-in-law can't even make me angry. That's what I always look at Dana. I goes,
yeah.
It's your mom. It's an older lady. What am I going to get upset about?
So my point is we have those skills.
You're right about
that. And we utilize them pretty consistently for a lot of us. The difference is our peers. In our peers we have this the phrase that I hate the most, and that is, they should know better. Why? Yeah. What do you know about this person that says you know what they know? See, now that's where once again, that's your expectations getting the better of you.
Right.
You're expecting this person to have the same kind of home training, the same kind of philosophy in life, the same kind of expectations as you do, and they don't. And that's okay.
Right. Or you're simply expecting that you're so correct that yours is the right place to be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They might be in the right stratosphere. I may be the one on the outside.
Exactly.
Just like in that situation that we're saying with the younger person that we talked about the story earlier.
Right.
They're probably in the right of where the generation is going. It's just that we're in this transition period where there's still a lot of us around, which we still bust balls.
Yeah.
So, your world is coming, bro, where no one has a nickname made up by other people. But in today's world, we still have it. Like, we're in that transition period.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, there was a day where I got called frog because of my big eyes.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? It just is what it is.
But, so for anybody who's listening to this and you're having trouble with dealing with anger, I think that's kind of where you got to start. Yeah. Once again, don't start while you're angry. You know what I mean? Start now. And that's what people don't realize is you got to start with personal growth. Yeah. Like, you don't do the personal growth in the midst of a conflict. You do it now when you're relaxed and you're calm. You start the process of changing just the way you look at the world. Change your perception. Change how you approach things. And then...
How?
Yeah.
Give some tips on how.
Well, I mean, first of all, go to YouTube and watch our personal growth video because we had a whole hour where we discussed a lot of that. But find avenues.
That's youtube.com/Dharma Time.
Look at you with the segue.
Well, I mean, you're expecting them to know. What if they don't know? I don't know.
Touche. Finding avenues of growth. For instance, there was an individual that I know very, very close in my life that's going through some issues at the moment.
Yeah.
Reached out to me. And I ended up, I told this person to read some things. They're not into reading that much. And so I went ahead and instead of waiting, I struck while the iron's hot. I have a book at my house I was going to give this person. And instead, I was like, you know what? Give me your address. I went ahead to Amazon, bought it, and had it sent to their house the very next day. And I was like,
that's very nice.
You're gonna need to read that. Right. And I said, and I've bought this person a book before, and I know they didn't read it. And my whole thing was, you're just not ready. When you're in a point in your life when you felt like there's no more answers, you're gonna be ready, and now you're ready. And so I was able to get this person a book, and they're gonna start reading it probably tonight. Who knows? Right. My point being though is reaching outside yourself. Right. Like the problem is we don't have the answers, and we kind of know we don't have the answers sometimes. But we still act as if we do. We still think that, I could just figure this out. Well, if your car broke down on the side of the road and you're not a mechanic, would you just sit there and start taking bolts out and stuff? No, you would call somebody who knows what they're doing and help. And so I think that's what you need to do is for whatever reason, when it comes to like mental stuff, we all feel like we should just be able to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and figure it out.
That's a great example.
Dude, one of the most complex things on this entire universe is the human brain. There's nothing more complex than that, and you're going to just figure it out. Like, stop.
Preach.
And it's not to say that there's anything wrong with you. Nobody can figure that out. Stop trying to do the impossible. Like, if I told you to go out there and just and pick up a building and move it, you wouldn't even try it because you know how futile it is. But yet you're going to figure out your brain that's been around for how many hundreds of years that nobody's figured out. It's so good luck.
So let's listen. That's so important. You have no idea how important that is, or maybe you do. But let's reiterate that fact once again.
Yeah.
You know that feeling when you pull over and the car's doing some noise. The max you do is lift the hood and look.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do. I'll lift it and I look for the obvious.
Yeah.
What they tinker with when they lift the hood, I have no idea what people do.
Yeah.
But I know enough to look at the hood. Look for obvious warning signs. Yeah. But you know that feeling you get when you either close the hood or realize I have to now make a phone call?
Yeah.
That's what Trinity's talking about. That's what Dharma Guy's talking about right now.
And I think that's
acknowledgement.
Yes.
That
I'm in over my head right now.
It's not a surrender of weakness or that you're a bad person or stupid person. It's just being an honest person.
Yeah.
Being honest to yourself.
Yeah, being honest and you being smart enough to use the tools around you.
Right,
dude. We live in the information age.
Or aware enough. Let's take away the word smart because I think that's some people's issues is that they feel like I'm stupid. It's not you're stupid. You don't have that particular skill set, and that's okay.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to have all the skill sets. You know, you're not supposed to have 10 at every if it's 0 to 10. You're not supposed to have 10 in every level.
Oh, dude, if a rocket landed in my living room tomorrow, I wouldn't just start, I wouldn't pull out my toolkit.
Right.
I'd be like, I need to call somebody. Why is this in my living room right now?
Yeah, like I have like 8 or 9 stars out of 10 at streetwise, but I got like a level of 3 or 4 out of physical strength-wise. I mean, it's just the way it is, man.
Yeah,
I mean, you just got to know that.
But I think that's what it is. I think that people need to. I think that's how you start. Is first of all, you have to acknowledge and be honest with yourself.
No.
I'm not handling things skillfully.
For real.
And I use skillfully purposely because if you're doing something wrong, typically the mind says, well, screw it.
Yeah, wrong's bad.
But if I say you're not doing it skillfully, usually your first thought is, well, I can get skills. I mean, I can get better at something. Yeah. And that's the point. You're just not that good at it. Yeah. You can get better. Yeah. You can read things. You can talk to people. You can get guidance, and you can get better at handling things. Yeah. And so I think that's the first step is you have to be honest with yourself by saying, I'm not handling this as skillfully as I could.
And that other person may be an asshole, but it doesn't change the fact that you still can get better.
Of course. Well, because that asshole just still controlled your behavior.
Yeah, they're allowed to be one, but that asshole's in control of you right now.
Exactly.
They piss you off. Yeah. So they're winning. Ding, ding.
But I think that's how you start, is you start to find different avenues to educate yourself and learn different tools and techniques. Because I could sit here and tell you a bunch of them, but I don't know what's going to work for you. Like meditation is a huge one. But a lot of people at where they're at mentally right now, meditation is just not going to be a good answer for them.
We got to do a show on meditation one of these. You say that a lot. We got to do a show on meditation because you got to show us some cool meditation. Because you say meditation.
Well, see, I do walking meditation. That's why I don't feel like I'm qualified.
Well, then maybe you.
I'll have somebody on who knows more meditation than I do.
But a good one, a cool one. Because when you say meditation, I still think yoga and tofu.
Sure. And that's the thing. There's just so many. I love when people tell me meditation doesn't work for them. I was like, hold up. There's like 1,000 of them.
That's like saying silence doesn't work for you. Silence. That's all meditation really is silence and breathing.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. It's just learning to control the mind. At the end of the day, that's all really meditation is a sexy way of saying practice. Yeah. You're practicing on how to dictate to the mind where it goes as opposed to the other way around. Mm-hmm. Because what'll happen is, something will take place. Your expectations got the better of you, and your brain is telling you I'm going to get angry at this. Right. And how could I do that? You feel this whole narrative. To whereas with meditation, just gives you the practice to say, hold up, I can see that this has touched one of my buttons, and I'm getting ready to overreact right now. It's not this person's fault. Let me go ahead and just calm myself down and remove for a minute. Right. That's kind of what the meditation gives you is the practice to do it in the real world, essentially.
Yeah, it just looks like sleep.
Yeah. But anyways,
I used a crystal. Then I went to a flame.
A flame?
A flame, like from a candle.
Oh, okay. You just focus on the flame type deal? Okay.
Yeah.
Usually people start with like the breathing meditation.
I started with a crystal, actually, in a rock. A rock, but to me the rock was a crystal. Right.
Yeah. Now, the other thing I had listed here for us to kind of keep us somewhat on track, which I think we've actually done a good job today. Yeah. No squirrels are running around.
Now you said it. So now they're coming. They're going to come out. They're going to come out. Right?
Well, the thing I have listed here, which just very quickly, was anger versus passion. Okay. I think that's an interesting thing, though, because where's that line drawn about how I'm just passionate about something or I'm angry about something? Like, what are your thoughts? Where do you think that line's drawn at?
Well, I'm passionate about my anger. I'm passionate.
Cheater.
Yeah, I'm a cheater. I think it's a really. I think that's there's no one answer for that kind of question. To me, the line is drawn. If I'm passionate about something, that means that I really want the other person to hear it or listen to it.
Right.
But if we're getting into an altercation or I'm having to raise my voice and that person's raising their voice, I have to understand, and it's not always that easy. I have to understand that now my message is not being heard no matter what. No matter how right I am, it's not going to happen anymore. It's almost like how we joke around that if one person is on the right side politically and the other person is on the left side politically and they're going after each other on Facebook, guaranteed neither one is listening to each other.
Nobody has ever been on a Facebook conversation
Right.
and be like, oh my gosh,
Right.
you're totally right. I've never. It just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, people can only receive what you're dishing out if they stay calm, and you can only receive what they're dishing out when you stay calm. So if you're going to be passionate about something, my recommendation is that it's your passion if you're still allowing yourself to stay calm and you don't start responding to the negative feedback coming your way. As soon as you start responding to the negative feedback your way, yes, you're still passionate about it, which is fueling you. However, now you're jumping into angry mode, which is now they stop listening.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go back to my original quote that I read at the top of the show.
You can, because there's people that just listen to
and
part
the
of
quote
the show.
is, in a controversy, the instant we feel anger, we have already ceased striving for the truth
Right.
and have begun striving for ourselves. And I think so. In a conversation, to me, the difference between passion and anger is when you stop listening. The minute you stop trying to understand that person's point of view and where they're coming from, agree or disagree, you stop trying to understand it.
Yeah.
You're now angry. You're no longer passionate, because you can be passionate but still respectful of their approach and their perspective and trying to understand what they're trying to say to you. The second you're no longer doing that, it's no longer passion. You're now angry.
Yeah, because your passion should allow you to vary. It
Right.
should allow you to change your method,
Yeah.
because you want your ultimate goal.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You're no longer looking for the truth. You're just
Right.
looking to dictate, I'm right.
Right.
And that's where the passion is gone, and
I
now the
agree.
anger has arisen. Because to me, I want to get it right. You know, regardless if it's my way or somebody else's way, my end goal is I want to get this right.
Yeah.
I want to get the best possible solution to whatever the problem is. And if I'm no longer listening to you, if I'm so bullheaded that my way is the only way and I'm starting to kind of just overrun you,
Yeah.
I'm now angry. Like, I'm no longer passionate about my way. And to be honest with you, my true passion is about the truth.
Yeah.
Not my way or your way, whichever way gets us to that truth. Now, obviously, I have my perspective of what the truth is. But the second I stop realizing that truth is 360, like your version is truth as well,
Yeah.
I'm no longer passionate. I'm now angry.
Yeah.
I've shifted gears now. And so for me, that's when I have to take a step back and be like, okay, and it's okay to have a different perspective. Like, that person's not inherently wrong because their perspective doesn't line up to mine. And I think that's where people start to run into problems, especially these days.
Please allow people to have a different perspective.
Yeah.
Please allow them to be wrong.
Yeah.
Allow life to teach them a lesson.
Dude, when
You
I
don't have to be everybody's teacher.
One of the greatest phrases when I was working for the Postal Service years ago in the union battles that we would have with management,
Right.
we used to always utter the phrase, management has the right to mismanage. You know, and
Boom.
and that was basically what that
Boom.
meant was anytime they did something we didn't think they were doing, we didn't like, instead of arguing and fighting, let them do it and we'll file agreements later. They have the right to mismanage.
And here's a perfect example why that's a great quote. Because sometimes management will be right. But if you develop a resentment and an anger towards management because they're wrong so often, then when they do right, you're going to have so much resentment towards them that it doesn't matter what they do, they're always wrong. And that's what we're seeing politically right now, is no matter what one side does right now,
There you
they're
go.
always wrong.
You
Can't
stuck
help
it in
man.
there. You got it
I
in.
had to sneak it in because it's true.
Right.
Because if it's more important to you to just hate and be angry,
Right.
well, then no matter what so what's the purpose of even having a conversation with you? Because no matter what the other person says, you're just going to just poo-poo all over it.
No, absolutely. We got a couple comments on here. Christina says, if I'm passionate about something and it's not going my way, anger can sometimes arise. And I think that's kind of what we talked about. You know,
Yeah.
It's like you have your set way,
Yeah.
and then what makes you angry is anytime
Right.
you don't get your way, essentially. And so that's
Yeah.
what we got to stop doing, is having this expectation of what's going to happen.
No.
You know, stop worried about the end so much and worry about the journey.
And you know what's important to say, Trinity, in this is that it's okay to be angry. But just like you and I dealt with, you know, at the start of the show, we talked about a certain situation that you and I both dealt with over the weekend.
Yeah.
But you and I went somewhere else, and we dealt with our anger, you know, apart from that individual.
With humor.
Yeah.
We left and just made fun of it.
But what I'm saying is we went and dealt with it.
Yeah.
In other words, it was all right that we were angry.
Well, that's the other thing.
But
Is you got to get rid of it, though.
Go get rid of it
Yeah.
with your support system where you can vent and deal with it and process it.
Yeah.
So that you don't end up doing something else to that other person or to the situation to make the situation worse.
Absolutely.
Or hurt somebody. That's not even the right way to do it.
And one other comment was Marissa actually said, trusting others also helps to open up to other ways of solving the issue or problem. I think I saw that the other day. I don't remember what I was watching. I was watching something with my wife the other day. And matter of fact, here we go. I was
The Masked Singer? Was it The Masked Singer?
No, I don't watch that. There was something going on. It was very, very funny. It was like real life imitating art kind of thing.
Okay, all right.
We were watching something on TV. I do not remember for the life of me what it was, but it was a situation where the guy was just refusing to give his wife any credit for helping out or come up with the right thing. He was so insecure he could not just accept the fact that maybe my wife. Oh, it was one of those. The thing with
Little House on the Prairie.
No, it was the Gordon Ramsay thing where he's going around fixing things, and it was the husband.
Yeah.
He could not
Hell on Tour, something
like that. Yeah. Basically, what it was is his wife already has business experience, and things like that,
right.
but he wouldn't let her just be the GM of the place, and him be the owner.
Yeah.
She couldn't let her do it, right? So while we're watching that, I'm blowing up this toy for my kids. And there was another one that I couldn't, it didn't have the mouth nozzles. So I was like, how am I going to do this? So I'm looking around trying to figure out ways to do this. And my wife was like, well, just use the blower. We have like a battery operated blower that you use, you know, for like lawn maintenance and stuff.
Okay.
And I was like, my first instinct was like, that's stupid. But being the husband that I am, I know my wife is right a lot. So I was like, all right, let me go try it.
Okay.
And I did it and it worked. And I told my wife, I was like, oh, you're a genius. You got this.
Genius.
You know, and while I was saying that, the dude on TV was just having a hard time doing it. And so it got me thinking, why? And so Marissa's right. Like, you got to trust some of the people around you sometimes as well. You have to trust that, especially, maybe not so much in like a random encounter. It might be harder.
Yeah.
But in your personal life, you have to trust that you have those people in your life for a reason.
Yeah, why do you have them in your life if you're not going to trust them?
Yeah, like you have to trust that they have good ideas. Like they're not always wrong.
Go get a Wilson ball if you
exactly.
want to trust people.
So you have to trust those around you, and that's a great point, Marissa. And yeah, like dude, especially your wife or your boyfriend or husband, girlfriend, whatever it is, or your spouse.
Yeah, if you don't trust your significant other, you got serious problems.
Or if you can't give your significant other credit when they do good things, like come on, dude. Like, dude, my wife is right almost all the time.
Oh my God.
Her perspective is. Matter of fact, I'll tell you after the show. She had a perspective about our encounter on Saturday. By the way.
Oh my God! Listen, mine is only right when it comes to those situations like the blower.
Yeah.
When it comes to interpersonal stuff, wrong all the time,
Yeah.
Dana. Just you got to let it go, babe. You're just not right.
But yeah, she has an opinion about that thing that happened. By the way, I'll tell you after the show.
Fine. That's fine. She can have her opinion.
But
She wasn't there.
correct.
She would have smacked the crap out of him.
Oh no, that was the thing. No, when I came home and told her about it, she was getting all hyped up. She would have said something. See, that's my wife's like a little firecracker, man. Like my wife is like an alley cat.
Dude, most people would have wait, first of all, most all people would have wanted to smack the dude.
Yes.
Some people would have smacked him.
Yes.
Trinity, you and I dealt with it masterfully.
15 years ago, I would have hit him.
Masterfully.
Yes, I agree.
We deserved a little. Let's go buy ourselves something today.
A gold star.
A gold star.
That's
Let's
right.
go get a gold star. Let's start putting them up here in the
Chart
station.
of gold stars.
A chart of gold stars. Whenever
Every time we handle something
this year. Let's see how many. Yeah, let's see how many stars we get by the end of the year.
Okay.
Let's go get some gold stars.
Starting at that particular one.
That particular one.
Sure.
It's a great thing.
Because I've had a couple since then. I should get some gold stars.
Well, maybe you deserve some gold stars. We'll see.
But
I'll be the judge of that. But for right now, you and I together deserve a gold star.
There you go, man. As a team, the team unit.
Team star.
But anyways, so we are
4
getting
minutes.
close. We got 4 minutes. So
So you want to just go ahead and wrap up, and I'll turn off my mic.
yeah, we can do that if you want. Why not?
Well.
Let me thank the sponsors real quick so we can keep the lights on in here. We have they're more than that though. They are fantastic people. We love them. We have Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers, fantastic facilities. Matter of fact, this Friday on the Couch Live, we're going to have Peter Shore on from Retreat.
Yep.
We also have Journey Pure, another fantastic place. We're always doing something with them as a foundation and as a company. We got Orange County Drug Free Coalition, which we have a meeting this Thursday. Don't know if we'll be able to make it because we'll be doing something else.
Yep.
And then, of course, last but not least, we have the Now Matters More Foundation. Our foundation helps individuals struggling with drug and alcohol addiction. If you want to learn more about us, you can go to nowmattersmore.org. You can read more about us as well as donate if you want to help out. Every dollar counts. And then, of course, if you're struggling with addiction or you know anybody else that is, you can reach out at 833-NOW-MATTERS. That's 833-NOW-MATTERS. And somebody will be able to help you and kind of guide you where you need to go. So having said that, every week we kind of, or I kind of revamp the whole show or readdress the whole show, summarize it, and give you some action tips. Because I don't like it when people tell you all sorts of things but don't tell you how to get there. So today's 3 tips for today's show is when it comes to anger, understand, number 1, everybody feels anger. There's nothing wrong with you because you get angry. Don't expect to never have it. It's a completely normal feeling that we're all going to have. Anger is there. It's going to happen. It's not a problem. Number 2, you got to let go of it. Right? So when you feel the anger, don't get mad that it's there, but learn how to let go of it. Don't embrace it. Don't hold on to it. Don't make it last. Don't continue to fill in the narrative and try to justify it, things of that nature. Let it kind of come and let it die its natural death. Think of more of like a hospice worker as opposed to an ER nurse. And then finally, number 3 is you got to work on your expectations. You know, going into every situation, whether you intend to or not, you're going to have expectations of how that situation is going to play out. And if reality doesn't line up with your expectations, that's typically going to result in the anger. So if you adjust your expectations, then you know you're automatically by proxy working on your anger. So having said that, we only have like a minute left. I do want to remind everybody that we have not only this podcast, but numerous other ones. If you go to WPSN99.com, you have Dharma Time is there. You also have the Couch Live, which you get to hear both of our lovely voices. You get to see him more on the Couch Live, by the way. And then you have the Lemon Squeeze Show. Fantastic ladies with Constance B and JoJo Knows. They have a very interesting perspective. They deal with all sorts of life issues from a woman's perspective. Very funny, very good chemistry. You got to check them out. And then, of course, you have Recovery Radio with Steve Monterano. He has some fantastic interviews. He's a good guy up in Pennsylvania doing some good things. So by all means, go check them out on WPSN99.com. Make sure you subscribe to everybody on YouTube, iTunes, so on and so forth. And I think that's all the time we got. So now that you know better, do better. Peace. Are you still here? What are you doing? I told you, go do better.